Matters on KC24, your local election headquarters.
Our panelists here this week, we got Jim Veros, Vanessa Ramirez, Philip Teresi joining us. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Let's take a quick jump over to San Francisco, where they just raised, the first city in the state, going up to $15 an hour minimum wage. What?
Just 15?
Well, that's the question, because it also at the same time came out that you are considered low income, a family of four in San Francisco County, if you make $117,000 a year.
So if you're making $15 per hour,
That's
what
less,
are you?
That's less than $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
It's like $28,000.
Under poverty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in San Francisco, it's not even subsistence level.
It's not really a place that many people would probably move if they wanted to buy a piece of property right now.
So this doesn't change anything. It makes just
Yeah, and that's my question. I mean, is it a moot point? Should it be $25 an hour in San Francisco? And I say that joking and also not joking at the same time.
Yeah, at a certain point, it's got to stop. You know what I mean? Like, I know Phil and I were talking about this earlier, and it was, at a certain point, how overinflated are the prices in the Bay Area, and then how does that trickle down into other areas? Because obviously we are the same state, and we are the fifth largest economy in the world. Mm-hmm. But does the cost of living in San Francisco slowly but surely trickle down into the Central Valley? $15 an hour in San Francisco is a lot different than $15 an hour in Fresno, and that is different than some other smaller areas in California. So the trickle-down effect, I think, has a lot of people worried, especially business owners.
And that was always the question, and that I would ask people, and also the concern that people who were against this $15 an hour kind of a one-stop shop for all of California is that the inland parts of California are so different economically from the coastal areas. Does it make sense to have the same minimum wage?
Nope.
Well, what's happening here is San Francisco's going for legislation, just like New York did with rent control and San Francisco did with rent control, where it sounds good and it feels good, and it seems to be an effort to help people at a lower income. And the truth is that all it does is it drives the market in exactly the wrong direction. If I can rent out a 3-bedroom apartment a few minutes walk from Coit Tower for $6,000 a month, you go right ahead and have your $15 an hour. You still can't rent that apartment. And what we're going to end up with is San Francisco following New York into abject unaffordability for anybody who's not a millionaire. You're going to have a tremendous amount of empty real estate. You're going to have a tremendous amount of empty commercial space. The city suffers tax revenue losses, which means that the actual maintenance of the city declines, which means that all these programs for the people who are now making that $15 an hour minimum wage don't exist. And so I think that unfortunately the city is a victim of Silicon Valley's success.
Sure. No, I mean that really is it in a nutshell. And at the same time, Vanessa, I'm sure that we all know somebody who had a chance to move to San Francisco and take a job and had to turn it down simply because the numbers didn't make sense for them.
Or they go and they come back because they just can simply afford it. I mean, $15 is...
Yeah.
It's terrible. I mean, it sounds great.
Or
maybe
even the salaries that they do offer out there. They offer what sounds like a great salary to somebody in the Central Valley. You go out there and all of a sudden you're like, it's like I'm making half the same amount of money.
You can make it. You can make it
Yeah,
over there. And I think, like Phil says, it has a lot of effects, and not positive ones, because they seem like they're following the law. Oh, we're cool. We're going to give them a 15 per hour. But at the end, it's not good for anybody.
A quick reaction to this thing I saw at the National Review, where they said 47% of people polled, 47, below 50% for the first time, said that they are not extremely proud of their American citizenship.
Key word, extremely proud.
Maybe they're still proud.
They're still proud, but not extremely.
Less so. I mean, they said that's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, that kind of hits me a little hard on that one. Obviously, being around 4th of July, and I know we were talking about fireworks and whatnot, but to say that you're not extremely proud of living here, either you haven't gone out of the United States, or there's something really, really wrong with how we get our news and how we think and how we talk to other folks. I think things have gotten so polarized and so nasty that you can't even have a conversation. And I think everyone goes to their corners and they just stay angry, and they blame the United States for their anger.
That you're judging the country based on whoever's in charge or the leaders that you see, rather than the country, the fabric of it itself.
Well, and I'm always a little suspect of these polls. I mean, I saw one that came out Tuesday that said that the #1 most popular Mexican restaurant in the United States was Taco Bell.
Yeah, no.
And when
I'm
I
heading
see,
for the border.
Yeah, right.
when I see something like that, I've got to laugh because obviously there's something wrong with the polling. So when I see less than 47% of Americans,
Poor Vanessa.
I am so sorry.
but I'll tell you this though, Phil. When people from an area that doesn't have the vast quality of Mexican restaurants comes and visits Fresno or Los Angeles and they try it, they'll say, if you bring this back to Michigan, Minnesota, Indiana, people won't know what to do with this. It's so good.
You know,
people
Taco
aren't used to it.
Bell, La Elegante.
Talk about polarized. Come on.
But, yeah, I also think that what is going on, it's so many things that you're hearing in the news, so many stuff going on in the country that you don't feel exactly proud of it. You know, all you hear is bad things, immigration and protests and rallies and taxes, that you don't feel like, oh, this is my country. You know, that feeling goes away. I think in the amount of problems or issues that we're facing, the more you have, the less proud American you feel.
I think because we're not seeing as many solutions these days, too. We're a country that focuses on problems and getting mad about those problems and not about fixing them. And yes, fixing problems happens, but that's not what we like to focus on so many times.
And I think we also focus on the protesting also. I mean, think about just since President Trump has taken in office, how many causes have there been walkouts and protesting? Where, you know, we had the Me Too movement, we had after the school shootings, and did we fix those problems?
No, of course
no, we haven't fixed those problems. We like protesting.
Solutions.
We like being angry, and we go to the next issue. If it's ICE, what's going to be the next one? We don't fix it. We're just constantly angry.
I think we like
Phil, what were you going to add?
Well, I think that part of the problem here, and I think Jim hit on it when he's talking about the Me Too movement and the Families Belong Together rallies, and you have all of these protests, and every 2 weeks there's something new going on, and all of it's driven by social media. Yeah. If you take 2 weeks and get off of social media, get away from Facebook, get away from Twitter, just watch the news on television, read a newspaper.
And talk to people face to face.
Listen to the radio and talk to actual human beings. America is all of a sudden a very rosy place with a lot of opportunity that has some problems, but that is still a great country. And I think that this echo chamber that we built for ourselves with people seeking clicks, even individuals seeking clicks on social media over good communication, hurts that image.
And we're not learning anymore. We're trying to prove people wrong.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just trying to win.
We're trying to win.
I think it's a matter of people liking to raise their voices. I want to be heard. I just want to say something is wrong and I don't like it, and I just want to go out in the street.
Which, by the way, Vanessa in the newsroom, that's all she does. She just starts yelling. I walk by her desk, she yells at me.
That's because the World Cup's on.
All right, finally, we got like a minute. I'm taking you through the 12 props that just got put on that November ballot, statewide propositions. Aside from the gas tax repeal, what are you guys going to be watching?
I really want to see if we're going to be chopping the state up into 3. Not because I actually think it's going to, I don't think it's going to pass, but it's almost like one of those Jesse Ventura conspiracy theories. You know it's BS, and you know that it's not going to pass, but you want to get it to where, like, a month out from the election, like the polling data is getting close enough that the establishment starts really freaking out. And what kind of commercials can you put out that so don't leave, stay, all the plants will die? Like you have, I want that to happen.
I'm actually getting the rap right now, but I'll be looking after that daylight saving one. I want to see. Congress still would have to approve it, by the way, so we'll see what happens. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Had a great time. After the